This is Professor Mack. I'd like to talk to you briefly about something else that might seem to be challenging or you might have questions about, and it's really dealing with bins. So when we think about bins, we think about categories, much like we think about male and female as a category for sex or gender. So when we think about other items like age and years of service, it could be a little bit puzzling, but the same is also true of those. So, what I'd like to do is get you to, let's see, a point where we can actually see some of this information so we can make some quick assessments on it. So, let me get to this data. So, I'm going to navigate to a particular worksheet. Let's see, sheet 4 maybe. No, let me go back. Sheet 1. Nope. This is the fun of having a whole lot of tabs open. So let's see. Here we go. Navigate to the sheet. Okay, here we go. So there was something blocking my path or access to that. So what I did is I copied a few um, data points over to the sheet 5, and it really deals with the more complex type of bin. If you think about it, is like age and years of service, for example. So, one of the things that we can think about is, so what does that look like? Anytime you fill out a survey, they typically have these categories. For instance, if you think about age, they're going to have categories like 18 to 30, 31 to 40, 41 to 50, and it can be a variation of this. So this is just something that I thought about this morning, or rather thought about, and just an easy way to break it down. Depending on what data you're looking at, if you're looking at elementary age kids and teachers, that age could vary from, very early as 5 or 4 or 5 up to the same age as any other occupation for a teacher. And then years of service, you could break those down in like categories as well. In this particular case, I'm using 0 to 5, 6 to 10, 11 to 15, 15 to 20. And then, of course, you have salary, right? So you can also think about surveys that you complete and ask, how much do you earn in your household? They'll have that broken down into these types of categories as well. So from a Excel perspective, when you're doing a histogram, you can also think in the same manner. However, what we're looking for in Excel is like your top of the category. So for instance, I'm not necessarily thinking about this 18 to 30. I want to know, okay, at what age are you going to start at? So anybody that's below age 18 would be captured in this particular category. Anybody that's 30, between 30 and 18 would be captured at the 30 category. Anybody that's at the age of 40 to 31 would be captured in this category, and anyone who is 50 to 41 would be captured in this category. So essentially, these are my buckets. So when Excel looks at it, it says, okay, anybody that's under the age of 18, put them in a bar chart. In a bar chart, you would see a bar for that age category. And then Excel also knows that anybody that's older than 18 to the age of 30 would appear in the next bar. And the bar would be labeled 30. So you would see two bars, for example. One would be 18 and one would be 30. Those bars really represent those categories. Same thing with years service. You would actually have the top of your category, and anything that is between those would actually be captured within the next category. So if you're at 5 years, you would be captured as 5 years and below. If you're at 10 years, you would be captured from 10 years to anything above 5, which would be like a category of 5.1 to 10, similar to what we see here. It should be like 6 to 10 rather. So And that's years. So if it were months captured, it would be 5.1, 5.2. But since we're talking specifically the number of actual years, it would be these broader categories 6 to 10, 11 to 15, 15 to 20. So, what does that mean? That means when we think about how we want to actually just capture our data about these specific categories, for instance, let's look at years of service. So what I want to do, I want to highlight all the data since I'm going to probably be working with most of it anyway, and then I want to put the filter on. So now that I have everything where I can filter it, I have these columns that I want to create. So I set a category that was like years of service was like 5 years. 5 years. Let me do this, 5 years. That doesn't work. 10 years. So that would be 0 to 5. It's my 0 to 5. My 6 to 10. 11 to 15. And this would be my 16 to 20. As an example. So these are my categories. I fit into one of these categories. Now, how do I get the data for these particular categories? Well, I go to years of service and I'm going to filter. Let's start with anybody that's between 0 to 5 years, right? So that'd be 1, 3, 4, and 5. I select those. Now I have all of the individuals with between 0 and 5 years of service, and let's say I'm doing salary. So now I'm going to select the salary for these individuals. Okay. And I'm going to paste it here, paste the values. So I have their salaries. Now I want to get the salary for those individuals who are between 6 and 10 years. So I'm going to deselect all these, or clear this rather, and say 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, so that's 6 to 10 years. This is why you have to have clean data as well too. So I'm going to select these. Okay, so we have a lot of folks that are in that category. Copy those and paste them here. Paste values. Okay. Then, of course, I want to select individuals. Probably should actually turn this off when I get ready to paste. I'll show you why. Okay, so let's see, we have all of them. Okay, great. Okay, so that's fine. So now I'm going to do 11 to 15 years. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Wrong sheet. Okay, 11 to 15. We can see that here. Okay, and I want to select their salary. Paste the values. Let me see something. Okay. And of course, if you don't want to have these gaps, then what I should do is this. I should actually deselect everything. let's say we're doing the now 16 to 20 years old, 20 years of service. I select those. I now have their salaries. I'm going to copy those. Then what I should do is, once I copy, enable everything back, and then do my paste values. So now let's bring these up by, I want to delete these empty rows. I'm going to say shift cells up, and there we have it here. I have one cell, and delete that cell, shift cells up, and I have all my data. So now you can see that I have all of the different years of service salaries broken down. And clearly, there are fewer people who have 16 to 20 years, visually, of course, fewer people that have 11 to 15 years, and then a lot more people with 0 to 5 years or 6 to 10 years. So that doesn't tell me anything at this point. It just says that, visually I can see this. Now, with this, if I want to do like performance score versus the years of service, I actually have one, actually you do it reverse. I would actually do performance score in relationship to the number of years of service. So does a person who has 0 to 5 years versus 6 to 10 years higher performance scores? Only the data can tell you that by running the ANOVA across multiple categories. So variables rather. So that's how you could actually break that down in order to get to the place where you want to do the analysis on a particular salary based on years of service. Now, the same thing applies to, what's the other one? So we have years of service. Oh, it's not showing here. Let me scroll up a little bit further. That would be age as of date. So in the age as of, so I had these particular categories here, like 18 to 30, 31 to 40. Again, you can break these down as you choose. Let's say I'm doing age of service. Let's see. These, I'll just say 18. Those folks are 18. Those in the 30-year-old, those in the 40, 50, and 60. This is so you have more control over what Excel gives you as far as these categories are concerned. It will do bins, but it's not as user friendly. So this gives you more control on what specific brackets or categories that you want. So we're saying age. Same thing here. Age 30, up to age 30, up to age 40, up to age 50, and up to age 60. And anything above that would go in its own category. Let's just say that. We could assume that. Let's move over here. Myself another blank cell, blank column rather. Okay, so this is 50, 60, let's say 61. 61 should capture anybody that's over 60 years old. Age greater than 60. Greater than or equal to 61. Okay, nothing special about that. That's just the way I label it. for my own intent and purpose. Let's do this again. Okay, so here we go. Let's go find those ages. Now maybe I want to also make this more convenient for myself. So I'm just going to take age category and move it over here. I can actually put it here, make it easier, right? So you can move these columns around as you need to, just to make it convenient. So now I need to actually have all these as selected for filtering. So I'm going to reset my filter, and now I'm going to select this. Okay, so I want to look at people who are less than 18 or less. So you can see clearly this is organized in numerical order. It's ordinal, and you don't see anybody that's 18. So that's a interesting find. Is there's nobody in this particular set of data that's 18 years old. As a matter of fact, so let's go between years of age between above 18 and the years of 30. So here we go. So 27, 28, 29, and 30. Have those individuals. Now I need to get their salary. I should bring salary over as well. Let's do that. So age. I'm gonna insert a blank column here. And again, this is just so it's easy to work with the data. So feel free to move your columns around as needed. Otherwise, you'll be running from one side of the screen to the other. Okay, take this filter off as well. Remove the filter so I can get everybody. So I'm gonna come over here again. I can copy salary, I can cut it. I'm just gonna copy it. And I'm gonna place it here. Here we go. Okay, so now I'm going to capture the salary for those individuals who are less than 30, 28, 29, 30 and less. Here we go. I'm going to copy those. And of course, great if I just unfilter this first. Go back to the top and paste the salary for people up to 30 years old. Okay. Again, I'm coming back over to salary, or rather, I'm coming over to age. And I'm going to select anybody that's less than 40 but older than 30. All right, that's my category. Actually, they should be less than 40. Yeah. Oh, they should be up to 40. Okay, so I'll select that. And I'm going to also capture their salaries. Here we go. So again, this is basically saying you want to look at data from a categorical perspective based on age. I'm going to paste the salary for those individuals in the particular column for it. Okay, so I have their salaries. And you continue that process until you have all the different age categories or buckets that you want. This particular case, let's do one more. So I want to capture everybody that's over 41, but less than or equal to 50. I might as well do all of them, right? Okay, so let's see. Let's get all these ages. Let me make sure I got all these ages. So they're over 40, which means they're 41, and they're less than or equal to 50. Right, here we go. So I'm going to capture this salary. We have a good number of people who are at that age. And I'm going to paste the values here. Okay, and let's do one more, I think. 60, well, maybe it's two more. Let's see. Okay. So this time we want to get individuals who are above 50, 51, 52 through 60. Got those individuals. Okay, I'm going to capture their salaries, copy this. Scroll over here, the salary, paste the values. And like I said, one last one. We want to do age again. This time we unselect everything and we want to find anybody that's over 60. 1, 62, 63. Okay, here we go. People up to 69. That's great. Not many, but we do have some individuals who've been around for a while. I'm going to deselect these. Select this so I can see everything when I paste. And then I paste the values. So now I have the salaries for two different groups. Those with 0 to 5 years of service and those based on age categories. And now you can actually use the ANOVA or use other tools to actually do your analysis, including doing charts in particular. So that's it for now. That's why you would actually look at categories, is because you want to break it down by specific buckets or groups in which you could compare to a particular variable. So the other thing I could have done, just as we did with salaries, is if I was looking at performance score, instead of filtering and selecting performance scores, I would have, salaries, I would have simply selected the performance score based on years of service and then performance score based on 18. So at least with this data set, we know, one, we don't have anybody in this particular bracket. There's no one in the 18-year-old and below. Everybody's either above 18 to 30 and all the way to 70 or 69 years old. Okay, hope that helps.